Hey everybody, I'm posting this intro to a video I made because I got something wrong in it. I said Donald Trump never gave any money to charity before and that his taxes had never been released, and then somebody in the comments pointed out how I was wrong. I don't really have a good excuse for this. I should have done a better job of fact checking. I'm just wrong, but I do have a reason. I sometimes get frustrated and with what's going on in the world. I stop listening to the news, so I missed this story, and when I said this, I was going off memory. But I decided to post this video anyway with this introduction because I don't want to pretend like I didn't do something that I did do. I just made a false accusation against him. And to Trump, if you happen to be watching this by some odd chance, I apologize to you for my false accusation. And I've thought about it a lot. There have been false accusations made against Trump by liberals, and I think somebody owes him an apology for that. So since nobody else is going to do it, I apologize as a liberal to you for all the false accusations, like the Russian collusion story. But for right now, I stand behind everything else I said criticizing him. And if somebody sees something I said wrong, please let me know. I will make another video about it. But here's a video I made.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I made a video asking Trump supporters who believe that Trump was chosen by God how they squared that away with Matthew chapter 19 verse 24, where Jesus says, "It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven." I got 39 comments, and some of them made good points, but most of them were just stupid. Let's see what they have to say. You got a lot wrong. Read the whole Bible. I actually have read most of the Bible. I skipped some of the parts where this guy begat that guy because it was so boring. And there was a few books in the Old Testament that was so boring that I couldn't even get through it. Part of the reason I'm not a Christian anymore is because I have learned so much about the Bible. But back to what he was saying. God uses whom he pleases. Did King David give up all his stuff? And God said that he, David, was a man after his own heart. Trump has given much more that I'm sure you have. I actually think this is a very good point. I have never thought about it before. According to the Bible, King David was rich, and God did say he was a man after his own heart. And Jesus later said, "It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven." This shows me the Bible contradicts itself. As far as the claim that Trump has given a lot more money to charity than I have, I really don't believe that. I don't believe Trump has ever given any money to charity in his entire life because he's a narcissist who only cares about himself. I think that's probably the real reason Trump doesn't want to release his taxes, because he doesn't want everyone to find out that he has never given any money to charity a day in his life. Do you remember when Trump promised to give $1 million to any charity that Obama picked if Obama would release his birth certificate? But I could be wrong. Maybe I am. I'm open to it. If he ever releases his taxes like he promised he would, then we would find out. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think Trump has ever done anything good in his life. I think he has done some good stuff, but not because he cares about anyone. I think he does good stuff because he loves the praise he gets for it. A good example of this is when he pardoned Alice Marie Johnson. She was a lady who got convicted of a drug offense and was sentenced to life for it. Trump pardoned her, and I thought that was a wonderful thing he did. But I don't think he did it because he cared about her or anyone else. I think he did it because a beautiful lady, Kim Kardashian, asked him to, and I'm sure she praised him for it. As far as his claim that Trump has given more money to charity than me, I have another Bible verse for you. As Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. "Truly I tell you," he said, "this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on." So what Jesus was basically saying is when you're trying to tell who gave the most money, you should go by the percentage of what they have, not the amount of money they put into the pot. So when you're considering that Bible verse, are you really sure Trump has given more money than I have, considering that Trump is a billionaire? God can use any person. This is not to say Trump is a Christian. However, do you remember when Trump declared Jerusalem to be the capital of Israel? That was God. Everything he said is completely irrelevant to the point of my video, but I included it anyway because he said, do you remember when Trump declared Jerusalem to be the capital of Israel? That was God. How does he know that? Does he think God spoke through Trump? Okay, so God might take over Trump's voice and force him to say something, even though Trump may not be a Christian, according to him? It seems like to me that whenever somebody says something this guy likes, it's God. And Biden is not rich? Hunter has collected 20 plus million in bribes for him and his father. Remove the beam from your own eye. Yes, I suppose that Bible verse could be applied to Joe Biden as well, and I'm sure he's done a lot of horrible things in his life, but it's completely irrelevant to the point of my video. Because I don't see anyone going around saying that Joe Biden has been appointed by God or chosen by God to be president, but I do see people saying it about Trump. And by the way, I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I voted for the Green Party candidate, Howie Hawkins. Why do people always use the Bible to their advantage? I heard a thief say God helps those who help themselves. This is exactly the point I was trying to make. I have seen Republican Christians declare that Trump was chosen by God to be president, and it just seemed like to me they were ignoring Matthew 19:24. It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. And by the way, the saying that God helps those who help themselves is not even in the Bible. After the verse you mentioned, the disciples asked, "Who then can be saved?" And Jesus said, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." It may be easier for the camel to pass through an eye of a needle, but it is not impossible with Christ for a rich man to enter into heaven. This comment got 7 likes, and I saved it for last because I thought it was the best argument. It's true the Bible says this, and it's also true that I left it out of the video. Partly because I wanted to keep the video under 1 minute so it'd be on the YouTube shorts, but also because I thought it was completely irrelevant to the point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make is that it's clear that Jesus did not like somebody who loves their money more than him, and he refused to give it up to go follow him. So would God really choose someone to be president like Trump, who obviously loves his money more than anything else? Well, his power too. As far as I'm concerned, Jesus saying that with God it's possible for anyone to go to heaven makes the whole story that I told before completely pointless. You know, basically the rich man came up to Jesus and said, "What do I have to do to get in heaven?" And Jesus told him, "Go sell all your stuff, give the money to the poor, and come back and follow me." And the rich guy didn't want to do it. So basically, Jesus was saying it's possible for anyone to get into heaven with God anyway. So what was the point in the whole story about the rich man not doing what he told him to and going selling all his stuff and loving his money more than Jesus? Jesus might as well have said, "Oh, I was just kidding when I said it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven, because anybody can get into heaven with God."